All right, welcome back to Shooting Hoops in the Boot, episode 2 of the year. We have been on a tremendous break, guys. I hope everybody's enjoyed their Christmas, New Year's. Charlie, how was everything your way, buddy?
It was good. It was good. Just hung around. I watched Christmas tournaments for most of the time. I watched some bowl games. Went to go see a movie. Just been kind of chilling
Chilling.
over
That's
my way.
good. What about you, Classy?
Man, just got through the holidays. Been a little under the weather, but think I've got that figured out. Like Charlie said, been Christmas tournament and NFL running around this place here in Portersville. So
That's right, man. I think that's
a lot
everybody's
of
house.
exciting things to talk about.
A lot of great Christmas tournaments, and we're going to start off by talking about one, and that's the Lady Royal Classic over in Twin Rivers. Donovan ends up winning that. It's actually their 5th straight. Christian Portersville Bulldogs took third as they beat Rector in the third place game, 45-35. Let's see. Piggott, I think you got to give Piggott some credit for winning that consolation as a 14 seed over Malden. I really thought Malden would have a good tournament. They lose that consolation 42-39. Twin Rivers, the host, takes 5th place. And then, of course, Kennett took 2nd after they beat Portersville, Chris.
Yeah, they did. But hey, I'm sure that Coach Fowler will take a 3-1 tournament, as any coach will. It's these tournaments are important. You get 4 good games in, and they did go 3-1. They beat Piggott in the opening round, 59-24. Then they had a tough game against the host team, Twin Rivers, but they won that one pretty easily, 58-36. And of course, the Kennett Lady Indians, who they're a big riser around here. They haven't had a winning girls basketball program that I can remember, not like that. But they handled the Portersville Lady Bulldogs 52-47. Kennett was seeded 2nd, so I believe the seeding team knew a little bit of something. I know that Kennett has a couple good ball players. And then we finish off in the 3rd place game against Rector. We won that one 43-35. Congrats to Taryn Irby and Glow Farmer, who made the all-tournament team. And the Portersville Lady Bulldogs, they set at 9-2. And they'll play in action this week a couple times.
Yeah, speaking of that all-tournament team, Chris, right there's a picture of them. Yep. We got Libby Brantley out of Piggott, Parker Ernest out of Neelyville, Ivy Benson out of Twin Rivers, Lily Oliver out of Twin Rivers, Riley Wilburn out of Rector. As you said, Irby and Farmer from Portersville, Alice Edwards of Kennett, Olivia Llewellyn out of Kennett, Bella Mona, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm going to butcher that. Mogaham, I believe it is, out of Donovan, Ellie White out of Donovan, and Carson Haygood out of Donovan. So congratulations to those ladies.
Yep. Yeah, that's a tournament, and Haytai was in that tournament as well. I think there was a few other local teams, and just a good tournament for the girls. Sure is.
Yeah, that's a every year thing. They really do a great job over there, and thanks to our buddies at KWOC out of Poplar Bluff, carries that every year. So yep. you get to watch it as well if you can't make it. And so congratulations to all them. And so what's Portersville got coming up this week, Chris? So the Lady Bulldogs?
Yeah, we'll be in action tomorrow. The boys and the girls will go to New Madrid tomorrow. The action will start at 4:30. It'll be a JV girls game. We'll play a half. Then the JV boys will play at 5 o'clock. Then the varsity girls will play at 6:15, and the varsity boys will play at 7:45. That's against New Madrid. So that ought to be some pretty good games there. That start off with a Monday. Back from a holiday. Tuesday they host the Holcomb. I'm sorry. They don't. Saturday they're in a tournament in Saturday at the Delta Shootout.
Charlie will be there.
Yeah, they'll play St. Vincent at 2:30. An opening round. I'm not sure of the format, but I know that the ladies will play there. But they also will play at South Pim on Thursday, which would be a pretty good game. South Pim's 5-2.
Yeah, that's right.
Only going to be one game on Thursday, and then, like I say, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday for the Portersville Lady Bulldogs.
Yeah, South Pim's got some size with Duckworth in there, man.
She was good last year.
Yes, sir, she was. All right, let's move on. Talk about the Clarkton Christmas tournament. The South Penobscot Bulldogs win that one over Risco. South Penn came as the number 1 seed. That championship game was a great game, and South Penn comes away. And congratulations to Travis Day and his team, Robert Farmer and all them guys. Ty Campbell. Great South Penn team. They're 7-0 right now. Got a couple of big games this week. They play West Side out of Jonesboro. We're trying to see if we can cover that tomorrow night for you. But we will have them Friday night, as you can see across the screen there. As they're going to be playing in Malden, so we'll have that on the network as well. Any thoughts on South Penobscot, guys?
I mean, South Penn is just bar none one of the best teams I've seen this year. Just play live. The ability that they have Farmer as like the main ball handler, but the fact that like someone like Parker Carlisle or Ty Campbell can just have a big game out of nowhere, it really just shows how deep the team can kind of go. Not bench wise, of course, but like Farmer can have one game where he kind of slows down, but Carlisle's in there to cover it up on the 3, or Campbell's in there in the paint. They just have been able to really, I mean, they're 7-0. They've been able to win every game that they've had, but they've been able to kind of dominate some games and been able just to play very well against some pretty decent teams, pretty good teams in the area.
You talk about South Penn, Coach Day is one of my favorite people. Man, had the honor to work side by side with him for a few years at Hayti, and he's got I was thinking about all these Christmas tournaments, and we've got a clearer picture than we had before.
That's right.
As far as everybody else, but to me, South Penn, I ain't got the clear picture on them yet. They really wasn't in I know they were in the Clarkton tournament, but they really wasn't in any bigger tournaments, which I would have loved to see them somewhere. I mean, because they're so good, but this second half for them is going to be important. And I know Coach Day and Coach Boyd, let's not forget Coach Landis Boyd and how important he is to that program, long as he's been there.
Right.
They're going to have them boys' heads in the right direction. And it doesn't hurt to have one of the best point guards in the state, and Robert Farmer, and also Ty Campbell, one of the best forwards in the state as well.
Yeah, and I think Charlie said it best. Farmer had an off night on one of those games, and Carlisle filled it up. So that kid can shoot it from the outside, and that helps Travis Day out as well, man. And be interesting to see where they go from here. Big games this week for them. And then let's move on. Let's talk about that Campbell Christmas tournament. Cooter came in as the number 1 seed and won it over Cena Torrensville guys in a game that they really put it on. Cena Torrensville surprised me, the final score there. But congratulations to Coach David Mathis and the Cooter Wildcats on winning that tournament. Man, I just couldn't believe the final score in that Cena Torrensville game.
Yeah, I mean Cooter, I've had my doubts about him sometimes. I've talked on here about the schedule. Sometimes that game against Zenith is an eye-opener just for some. I mean, Class 1, District 1, when you think about it, you think of Risco kind of running it down there. But Cooter has the chance this year against Risco. I could see them being the 2, Risco being the 1, and then them meeting up at the end of it. But they just a great win against Cena Torrensville.
Like Charlie said, Class 1, District 1, it's usually Risco and then Cooter and then everybody else. But, things is going to be a little different this year. Coach Mathis, man, he seems to know how to take what he's got and just expand. It also doesn't hurt to have, when your son's one of the best freshmen in the state, on the court as well. But I'm looking forward to their second half, and then I ain't wanting to rush the season through, but boy, them and Risco ought to be something to see, and they probably play each other in the regular season, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, same conference. So
yeah, And they'll probably play each other in the finals of the conference tournament.
I think that game's at Cooter this year, if I ain't mistaken. I don't know. I have to check the schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a good one. Cooter's got some shooters, man. McEvleen, he's always in range. The Sam's kid, the Sykes kid. And then Cooter's got some size, man. 6'3", 6'4" guys down there. They got to move in for New Madrid, who's helping them out, So interesting things to come for Cooter rest of the year. Cooter has a game with Hayti coming up this week, so we'll see about that, man. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the one of the big tournaments, the SEMO Christmas tournament, guys. 2 years in a row, Jackson Indians are the champs as they win against Woodland in a championship game, 68-57. Third place went to Notre Dame as they beat Scott City 60-54. Chaffee beat Delta in the fifth place game, 84-69. In a game with Mick Mullen had 37 points for the Red Devils. Bell City over Leopold for the consolation at 47-42. But let's talk a little bit about the Chaffee Red Devils, guys. I think they were a surprise team of the tournament. They gave Woodland all they can handle. And they got to look back at that game and think, what if, man? Because they beat Woodland. They're going to head to that championship game against Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I believe they played Cape the round before, Chaffee did. I was sitting in the car. We were in a gas station parking lot. Me and my dad. We just got done watching a movie and eating some dinner, and I go, Chaffee's up against Cape, and he goes, the Red Devils. You're telling me the Red Devils are what? And I mean, what a special time to be a Chaffee Red Devil up there. That's the first ever time a double-digit seed got fifth place in the Cape Christmas tournament up there. I mean, it was just a miraculous performance. And I saw some people saying that this could be a jump, kind of like Woodland took last year, where they had a great tournament and then got eyes on them and then made a run, sort of, in the conference tournament, district tournament as a whole.
Yeah, my takeaway from the SEMO tournament's got to be Woodland and also Delta. Woodland, man, they just showed that they're going to be there again this year in Class 3. I know they're ranked high. Of course, they was in the Final Four last year. But Jackson didn't dominate the tournament. That's a storyline to me, like they normally have. Normally, it's just Jackson in the field or Jackson in Charleston or, Jackson in Cape. But this year it was a little bit more parity, I thought. Didn't cover it a lot, but I did get into a few games. But, yeah, like you said, Chaffee, they impressed me too. And they stand at 8-3.
I want to highlight one game here. That 5 versus 12, that Charleston-Kelly game was one of the weirdest games I think I've ever seen.
I mean, fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, Kelly and Charleston, they were just exchanging blows, and I was telling my dad, I'm like, well, the thing with Kelly is whenever they played Crothersville, that fourth quarter kind of just felt like the wheels fell off, and they really couldn't just defend the inside. And then Charleston started going inside against Kelly in the fourth quarter, and just I believe it was like a 33-9 fourth, and the score was a lot bigger than the game entailed.
Yeah, like you said, the wheels did fall off there in the fourth quarter, man, and Charleston just took over and won it from there. But let's talk about the next round when Delta beat Charleston, guys. Delta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shocker right there to me. I didn't think Delta was like that until that game.
Delta's been receiving some votes in our polls, guys.
Yeah.
So to no surprise to us, I think, but it's some surprise if you overall look at it,
Would have liked to have seen them beat Chaffee though. Or they would have climbed higher in my poll. They are in my poll, Delta is, but I'd like them seen them, especially coming off that big win at Charleston, then turn around and give that one up to Chaffee. But just shows you how good Chaffee is too.
Yeah. Right. Hey, shout out to Trey Mitchell and Michael Jeffries, and I believe that's Travion down there.
That is Travion.
So
thank you for
getting in, fellas. That's your partner in crime, right?
Yeah, well, he's committing a crime by ditching me tomorrow.
Hey, we got that all tournament team here, or some of them pictured here. Let's see. Left to right, Cole Adams out of Notre Dame, John Ernest out of Jackson, Nolan Fowler out of Chaffee. He had a great tournament. Braden Walton out of Scott City, Hornbuckle for Delta. He had a great tournament as well. Juan Hernandez out of Bell City, Caden Lowry out of Scott City, and Corbin Kinder out of Woodland, guys. He was the MVP of the tournament. Congratulations to him. I know his dad, who coaches there, is very proud of him. Calvin Layton of Woodland as well. Night pitcher is Trentez Lane out of Charleston. So what a job. He had a great tournament as well, guys.
Yeah, he was the leading scorer, I believe.
Yes, I do believe you are correct. So that is the look at that tournament. Any other thoughts on that, guys?
I mean, Woodland, first time since 1976 in the title game. A big historic run for Woodland, even though they were the 2 seed. So it kind of felt chalk just a little bit.
And can someone else be the number 1 in that tournament next year? No.
Who knows?
Never know.
Who knows?
Never know. I tell you what I would like to see as we get in here talking about Bloomfield is some of the smaller teams in that SEMO tournament going to Bloomfield, and maybe some of the bigger teams in Bloomfield going to SEMO. Mix it up one year, man, and just so we can see some new games, like Dexter maybe going to
Cape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, man. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about the Bloomfield tournament. I know Chris got a lot of information on that, so I'll swing it over to him. Buxico wins it back-to-back.
That's right. Landon Burchard and Jet Hancock, they strike again.
Oh, Jet Airliner, baby.
Man, they're going to be it's crazy about this tournament. We're going to start with Portisville, my Bulldogs. They had that late game on the first day. End up losing to Twin Rivers. Was in it. It was a good game all the way pretty much to the end. We ended up losing 48-41, and then we turned around and had to play Doniphan, who had already beat us by, I think, 30 earlier in the year. And how they got seeded so low, I have no idea. But, I mean, they had a better seed or worse seed than we did. But we lost to them 60-44. We wasn't really ever in that one. But shout out to Jack Bell. Jack Bell was the leading scorer for both games. He had 21 and 13. Evan Windsor had 8. And also Tyson Farr. I believe he's a freshman for the Bulldogs. Played some pretty big minutes. We got a lot of youth on that team that played big minutes. And so, 0-2, it is what it is. And Portisville Bulldogs will look to bounce back. As far as the other tidbits of the tournament, Van Buren had to be surprised for me, guys. We all picked our teams, and I had Malden winning it, and I think most of y'all had Dexter holding true to 1. But Van Buren, man, Coach Black, got to see a interview with him after the win to secure his championship, which was the first ever for Van Buren. I didn't know that. I figured they'd at least been there before. And he gave a little interview to the guy there at Bloomfield, and he got choked up talking about family, and he kind of made me a Van Buren fan. I mean, what a future they got. Seems like he's a throwback coach, and of course, me being an older guy, I love that. But give it up for Van Buren. But also, the biggest riser or the biggest finisher finishing ahead of their seed was Doniphan. They were finished. They seeded 14th. They finished 7th, so they climbed 7 spots from what they did. But Twin Rivers was also another little surprise. They ended up 4th. Bernie, I'm high on Bernie, but they had a bad game there. Of course, they did go 3-1, but man, I believe they just kind of lost it for one game, but man, they got some players. Bernie's got some players, and this goes to show you that Class 2 District 3, how important and tough that's going to be. It'll be in Bloomfield, that district, but got to see East Carter. Was kind of impressed with them a little bit. Kennett, of course, they made it all the way to the consolation final. Ended up losing to Doniphan, 59-46. But other than that, congratulations to all the guys for the all tournament team. I didn't know if you got a picture of that, Mark, but I have that list.
There we go.
Yep. That's quite an honor because there's a lot of players on them 16 teams, and to whittle it down to 11 or 12 guys, tough for that tournament committee to do, but you got some ballers right there in that picture, bud. And I'd take 5 of any of them, and probably they'd make me look like a better coach than I could ever be. So, but hey, Bloomfield, done a great job with the tournament. Congratulations to Puxico, Landon Burchard. Man, must see TV. That's all I can say, guys. If you got a chance to go see Puxico somewhere, I'd suggest highly doing it because Landon Burchard is must see TV. I think he's probably top 2 or 3 guards in the state of Missouri, any class.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, it was a pretty good tournament. My old Haytah heart, hates to not see them and South Pim in it because I think they would have brought so much more to that tournament. But I don't want to keep killing that dead horse. But congrats to Puxico and all the other finishers that finished ahead of their seeds in Bloomfield.
Yeah, I mean, I have this stat down. I saw a photo of the programs in there that had the tournament history. So, fun fact here: this was the first back-to-back since 2019 and 2020's Dexter teams. Because Puxico won, of course. I mean, Landon Burchard, that final, that first half that he had, where he was just draining threes from Yucatan.
3/4 court.
Yeah, at
3/4 court.
At some point, like me and my dad were watching, and he just goes, he's not going to shoot that. He shoots it and then goes, oh, he shot that, and it goes in. And he goes, what? How did he hit that? And we were just sitting there in silence. And that Van Buren Dexter game, you were talking about it, Chris. It felt like a little bit that Dexter kind of stayed in it only because that fourth quarter was just error after error on both sides of the court. It felt like I was watching a Looney Tune bit for a second because Dexter would miss a layup and then somehow, some way, Van Buren would turn the ball over in the funniest way. But I mean, Van Buren, they earned their spot. They played the number 1 team like they were the number 1 team out there. And I mean, good second place for Coach Black up there on the Current River.
And they're going to host Class 2 District 2 as well.
Be tough.
So, yep.
Speaking of Coach Black, guys, I got to meet him earlier this year as we did a benefit for them up there at the school, raise some money, put on a wrestling show for him, and he was heavily involved and real nice guy, good coach, man. We talked a lot about basketball. And then Haytah was supposed to be in that Current River Challenge up there this year, but due to football, they weren't going to be able to make it, so they had to get out of it. But man, and speaking of Haytah, guys, let's move on and talk about that Manila Christmas tournament, our last Christmas tournament on the list. Haytah wins that one. I went over there, won 3 games. They beat the host Manila in the first night, and they beat a very good Hampton team who come in 11-2, and then they beat a good Gosnell, Arkansas team in the finals, 58-49. Congratulations to Javante Payne, Nikolai Combat, and LaDon Webb for making all tournament team there as well, guys. Haytah looked like the team we all thought they were going to be coming out of the gate. I think they're finally starting to gel. They're getting some games underneath their belt. They got 3 games up there, and they look excellent in all of them.
Yeah, I mean we would flick on the TV and I'd look at the Haytah score and I go, okay, yeah, they're winning. No need to sit here and wait because they'd be up 15 in the second quarter. I'd go, okay, yeah, they're advancing.
Haytah, we'll talk about them for a minute here. Let's say, hey, they're my big mover in my top 10 this year or this week. I don't even think I had them in there at all last week, but man, I'm happy for Coach Webb. He's got some ballers on that team, got some length, size. The juice got loose there on a dunk.
Yeah.
Fun team to watch. And like you say, I'm excited about Cooter at Haytah on Thursday. That's the game I'm excited about because, of course, Haytah should be favored to win that. But, hey, you never know. Cooter liable to – they get hot. but that's going to be a good game. And like I say, they got a shootout, I think, next Saturday at Osceola, right? Or they play Osceola?
Yeah,
play at
Osceola.
Osceola. Yep.
Yeah. And that's a started last year. Osceola come to Hayti, so guess we return the favor. Let's go ahead and talk about the games coming up, guys, this week on the Boot Hill Sports Network. Tomorrow night, Charlie's going to have Sykeston at Crothersville. Tuesday night, Charlie will have Malden at Crothersville. I'll have Neelyville at Hayti. On January 8th, we'll have Cooter at Hayti. January 9th, South Pim and Malden. I'll have that game for you. January 10th, Charlie will have Crothersville versus St. Vincent at Delta R5 in that shootout. So it's going to be a busy week for us. We're also trying to get the game tomorrow night between South Pim and Westside. That game is over in Jonesboro. I'm trying to land it. I got some calls in to try to get that one for us on the network as well. So I think that'll be a good game. Be interesting to finally get South Pim on the channel. We haven't had them this year yet. We usually have them 3 or 4, 5, 6 times a year, man, and we're trying to get that done this year as well. So it's going to be a busy week. Charlie, thoughts on the games this week? Crothersville was in that Manila tournament, Charlie.
They were
kind of disappointing tournament for them. But they did take 7th out of 8 teams, so they did wound up winning the last game in the tournament. So they are headed in the right direction there. So go ahead.
Yeah, and we forgot to mention the other games that Crothersville were in. They were in the Charles Coles Classic in Dyersburg at the beginning of break. They played Huntington the first day. Huntington came in. I didn't know what to expect from them. They kind of had a bloated record, and I was like, oh, well, who knows? And Huntington is a great team down there in Tennessee. Let me go through my program that they gave me here to remember the name of the player. I believe Caleb Azell. He's a senior guard, one of the best shooters I've seen all year. He was shooting from 30 feet, and then he would shoot the next one from even further and somehow make him. Me and Trevion were just speechless up there. He had
Mark Bibbs range there, Chris.
Yeah.
Remember Mark Bibbs?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he had 20, 25 in that game alone. He just took over. But at the end, Huntington just couldn't make their free throws. Crothersville went up the court. Faison Taylor, my 3rd buzzer beater of the year. A big, just short little layup for Crothersville to get the win. And then the next day, they played Page, who is outside of Nashville.
That's right.
That was not a good result. Let's not talk about that result.
Big city boys there, ain't it, Charlie?
I wasn't there, so I had to get a text. I texted someone, and I was like, "Oh, did you go to the game?" And I got sent back a long yeah, and I was like, either that's a positive yeah, or that is the scariest blowout of all time. And I believe that game was 83 to something, 40 something potentially. It's not on the MSHSAA page yet, but Page put a beat down. They turned the page on Crothersville.
Turn the page.
Yeah, and then obviously you mentioned that they lost to Gosnell on a buzzer beater in Manila. Then they lost to Dermont in the consolation, the second game. Then they beat Elkins, the Elkins Elks. Then Quan McVeigh was 3rd place in scoring. He had 67 points in the tournament. And Sammy Bryant was, I believe, 7th. He had 52 points in there. And Quan was all tournament team for the boys division out of Crothersville.
That's twice. Gosnell beat y'all by a buzzer.
Not twice. Gosnell beat us by, I believe, 5 early December, and then buzzer beater this week or last week now. And then obviously this week you mentioned it. We got Sykeston tomorrow. That's a tall order. Malden the next day, which who knows? I mean, Malden, they just play 6th in Bloomfield. They are a good team over there. And St. Vincent, who's 7-2 right now, and that game's at Delta R5. I believe they've changed the time. I believe it's at 2 now instead of 1 for that game. So
Well, that's going to be girls and boys. According to what Chris said earlier, Portersville will be there as well. And that's what Manila was, a girls and boys tournament. And I kind of like that. I even told Chris Wooten, I wish we could get to Al Jackson to become girls and boys, man, and have that kind of tournament there at the beginning of the year, man. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you got to start. So that's the important thing.
That's right. You got half of it already there.
You never know, when you can get it going. That'd be awesome though.
Yeah. And Al would love that, having a boys division as well.
Yep. He sure would.
Shout out to Matt Duckworth joining in. And Kenny Corley. What's up, fellas? We appreciate you guys joining us in and talk a little shooting hoops in the boot, man. Let's talk about the Hayti games this week. Neelyville and Hayti Tuesday night, a rematch of last year's district championship. And what a game that was, man. That's in our opening highlight reel that I made for Hayti this year. And of course, Neelyville is a team you can't sleep on. I watched a little bit of them yesterday as they played Corning. They beat the Bobcats. They're 6-5 on the year, so they've been struggling a little bit this year, but they do got some shooters, man. So should be an interesting game. And then, of course, Thursday night, Cooter at Hayti. Of course, Cooter has some shooters as well and some size, so it'll be a good matchup for Cooter. Hayti will have to come to play. You can't sleep on them just because they're a Class 1 team. And then South Pelham and Malden, that should be another good game. That is at Malden, so the Bulldogs taking on the Green Wave on their home court. And that's going to be it for the week there on the Boot Hill Sports Network. Chris, you got anything?
Yeah, I wrote noted some games of the week. Of course, we said Sykeston at Crothersville. Hoxie, Arkansas is going to be at Deering tomorrow. I know Portersville's at New Madrid tomorrow, and then of course South Penn at West Side. Tuesday night, Risco at South Penn, Malden at Crothersville. Those are two games. You said Neelyville and Hayti. Zenith is at Twin Rivers as well. Ought to be a pretty good one. Holcomb will go to Portersville to play. A Kit out of Blyville will go to Deering and play. And Van Buren plays at Couch. Couch is 7-3. So that ought to be a pretty good game on Tuesday. Thursday, we talked about Cooter and Hayti. Risco's at Bell City on Thursday, guys. That ought to be a pretty good game. Clarkton is at Portersville as well. Then Friday, talked about South Penn at Malden. East Carter at Van Buren is on Friday. That ought to be a pretty good one. And Doniphan at Twin Rivers on Friday. That ought to be a pretty good one too. And of course, we talked about Saturday, that shootout at Delta. I know Zenith plays Delta. I think it's called the Next Era Shootout Saturday, boys and girls.
I think that's the title.
Yeah. Those are the games that I got wrote down that I thought would be pretty interesting week of basketball, guys.
Zenith and Delta would be a good one, man.
Yep, sure should.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cartersville and St. Vincent. St. Vincent's what, 7-2, Charlie?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. All right, guys, we're going to move on to our top 10s. I got Big Dan's. Of course, Danny Glass, one of our fine sponsors of the Boot Hill Sports Network, goes to every big game. So, he's got a lot of eyes, and he watches a lot of basketball. We'll pull his top 10 up here. And there it is. He's got Bunker at number 1, 13-0 on the year. And then Puxico with the big BCT championship at 2, Woodland at 3, South Penn at 4, Van Buren at 5, Hayti at 6, Bernie at 7, Chaffee at 8, South Iron at 9. An interesting game this week, guys. We didn't touch on, but South Iron and Bunker play each other as well. So there's another big game. Cooter at 10. And then he's got honorable mentions of Delta, Bell City, and Cena's. So that is his top 10. And some of our listeners might not know how this works. We all take our top 10s, compile them up, and come out with the who gets the most votes at what spot. Charlie adds them up, and we'll have those out for you tomorrow. We release them every week. And it changes every week. Got some surprises working their way back in to my top 10. But, Charlie, you go ahead with yours, man, and then Chris get his, and then we'll get mine and go from there.
All right. So, starting off my honorable mentions, I got Malden. That 6th place in Bloomfield keeps them in. They had a weird tournament. They had some high highs, some low lows, and I think the honorable mention spot fits them for here. Then I got Delta R5. They're 8-2. I have them just off my top 10. They were the 8 line. They had the displeasure of going against Jackson in round number 2. Kept it so against them. Then obviously the loss to Chaffee later in the tournament. And then Risco had a interesting tournament in Bloomfield, to say the least. They had, again, displeasure of playing Puxico in the second round. So Puxico kind of had theirs with Risco. So going in my top 10, I have Scott City at my 10. They're 7-3 this year. They were 4th in the Cape tournament. They battled throughout the tournament, though. The Rams were able just to keep games close, stay in it, win, and that's why they got that 4th place. Then number 9 might be a little reactionary here just to start, but the 8-3 Chaffee Red Devils surprise 5th place. They beat Cape, just had a very impressive tournament all around. Then number 8, I got Bunker. I don't know much about Bunker, so that's kind of why I have them at 8. They're 13-0. They're undefeated. They won the I believe it's the Kabul Christmas tournament. I just have it wrote down here as Kabul tournament. Mm-hmm. And then they play South Iron on Tuesday, of course. Number 7, I got Van Buren. They're 10-2. Cinderella run, to say the least. 2nd place. I also got South Iron at my 6th line here. They're 10-2. They just got that history of winning, and they've had some dominant wins this year. And I mean, one game where they did get blown out by North County, who's a Class 4 school. Then number 5, I got Bernie, 5th in the Bloomfield tournament. They're a very weird team to poll, or to put in my poll, because either they look the part and then they have a quarter where they just don't look the part. And I'm a little confused with Bernie. They got 5th in the tournament, though. Had a great win against Malden. Then Hayti is my 4, and won Manila. I just got to see more basketball. They have less games compared to everyone. Just got to see more. Number 3, South Pim, only undefeated team left in the Boot Hill Conference. I feel like they need to be shown some love. Coach Day's got a great team over here. And then my 2 and my 1, we can tell who the 2 and the 1 are going to be. But I put Puxico at my 2, and I put Woodland at my 1, only because Woodland had that loss to Jackson, but they played Jackson so well that I can't punish them for the loss, like fully, because they lost by 9-10-ish to a school that is 3 times bigger than them, or what? Like it's Class 2 against, or Class 3 against Class 6, so 2 times bigger than them. I kind of feel like I have to put Woodland at 1 right now, even though Puxico, a dominant Bloomfield tournament through and through.
All right. So first off, my top 10 is pretty much 90% statistics and 10% gut feeling I got. I did leave Bunker out of mine. I didn't reach any further than Zalma as far as distance goes. I know they're 13-0, and I know they're bad, but I didn't put them in my top 10 because I consider them out of area. I don't know. We'll talk about that, and we may change that up. But they're certainly a formidable team. So I'll start with my honorable mentions. I got 3. South Iron, of course, 10-2. The only reason why I don't have them in my top 10 is they lost to Arcadia Valley, who was 5-3, and I think, like you said, North County, who was 3-3. Mm-hmm. But still, South Iron, man, don't sleep on them. Cooter, they're my honorable mention as well, with chance to move up because they got some important games coming up. And then Chaffee, I actually had left them off of my top 10 and honorable mentions before, but I shouldn't because Chaffee's good, and they showed it in the SEMO Southeast tournament there at Cape. My number 10 team is Malden. That's part of my gut. I still expect high things from them. Coach Fowler is going to have them rolling. They got some length, and they played some stretches where they were really, really good, and they played some where they were really, really bad. So they could clean a lot of that up. they have a chance to move up. My number 9 team is Delta, Class 1 District 2. Had a good Christmas tournament up there at SEMO. Put them at the 9. Number 8 team for me is Bell City, 9-2. Another Class 1 District 2 team. I figure them two will probably battle for the District 2. My 7 team, Scott City, 7-3. They lost to Farmington, and they've also lost to Woodland. Losing to Woodland is something a lot of teams have done. But I got Scott City at my 7. At my 6, I got South Pim, 7-0. Like I say, we're gonna see more from them, and I expect some good things from them. Number 5 team for me is Bernie. I'm still high on Bernie, Coach Long, and Long we trust. I mean, he can take a little and make a lot. And I was impressed with Bernie. Got to see them play in that Bloomfield tournament. They got some size. They got a kid that can shoot 3. So Bernie's my 5. My number 4 team is Hayti, 5-2, winning that Manila tournament. Bumped them a whole lot up for me. They got some important games coming up, and I look for good things for them. My number 3 team, Van Buren. Man, they blowed me away at Bloomfield. Wasn't expecting it. I thought they were seated way too high at 4 originally, but was I wrong again? So Van Buren is my 3 team. My number 2 team is Puxico, 11-1. They only lost to Sykeston, win the Bloomfield tournament. And then my number 1 team is Woodland, 10-1, losing to Jackson, but giving them all they wanted in that final. So Woodland's my number 1 team, Class 3 team.
As you can see, we're probably all got the same list, just different numbers beside them. And Sherman Manley, my nephew out there listening in, has got a big announcement there. North Pim and Southland boys play Wednesday at 1 at the FedEx Forum. What a great opportunity that is, man, for both schools, and a lifetime memory, as Sherman says there. So thanks for the information there, Sherman. We appreciate it. Also, we got another quick announcement I was asked to talk about. Ricky Johnson is a speaker that's been going around our area here, man, and he's coming to Crowsville on January 22nd at 6 p.m., but he's also going to the Southeast Correction Center January 19th, Kennett Community Center there January 19th as well, 3 Rivers, Portageville, Grandview, Chaffee, and Sykeston. The motivational speaker, he talks on a lot of things, man, so you get a chance, go out and see him. Well worth it, and thanks for sending that information in there. Nolan Rogers, our good friend up in East Prairie, who listened to us. Told him I'd cover that one, so there we go. All right, guys, before we get into my top 10, let's talk about my honorable mentions. I got Singatorsville, 6-3, Campbell at 6-3, Delta at 9-2, Risco at 7-4, Scott City at 7-3, and then Bell City at 9-2 as well. My number 10 team, I got Cougar. Cougar, of course, 8-1. Campbell champs, big game at Hayti this week, so they got a chance to move on up. Number 9, I got South Iron. South Iron 10-2 on the year, 3-1 in their Christmas tournament. Like Chris said, they lost to a 3-3 North County team. They got a big chance to move up as they play Bunker on January the 6th. My number 8 team, I got Chaffee. I moved Chaffee into my top 10 after a 5 performance in the SEMO tournament, man. They went 3-1. They're 8-3 on the year. They lost to 1 point to Woodland. They got Advance in Bell City this week, so there's some opportunity for them to move up as well. My number 7 team, I got the Bernie Mules, 7-2. Bernie went 3-1 in Bloomfield, but they kind of disappointing in the Twin Rivers game, so I kind of slid them down a little bit. They got Clarkton and Advance this week, so they should win both of them. By the time we're talking next week, they might move up some. Now, number 6, I got Van Buren, guys, 8-2. Bloomfield Christmas tournament runners up. They got Couch this week and East Carter, so that should be a good game against East Carter. It's going to be a rivalry game for them.
Yep.
So that's interesting. And number 5, I moved Hayti back in the top 10 after winning the Manila tournament, man, and clicking on all cylinders now. And what a tournament they had, man. They got Neelyville. Once again, that is a repeat of the district championship last year. They got Cooter, and they got a good Osceola team on Saturday. So interesting week for the Hayti Indians. They can move on up as well. And then South Pemiscot is my number 4 team. Of course, they're undefeated. as we all talked about. Clarkson champs, they play Westside, Risco, and Malden this week. So if they can win all 3 of those games, possibility of moving on up for them. Puxico, of course, the Bloomfield Conference champs. They got Donovan and Bloomfield this week. So interesting game with Donovan. Donovan's pretty tough. Woodland at the number 2 team. Seymour runner-up. They play Richland and Kelly. 2 games they'll probably win. And my number 1 team, like Chris said, it's a little bit out of the area, but I know we talked about them a lot, and we talk about South Iron as well. So I moved Bunker at number 1. They won the Kabul Holiday Tournament, as Charlie said. And, of course, the big game this week at South Iron. So that's my top 10 as well, guys. All right, so we'll get all those in. We'll post them up tomorrow. Closing thoughts, Charlie?
I mean, tomorrow, come out and support the Tigers. They play Sykeston. It's a big game. It's a big game. Sykeston coming in, they're state ranked. They're 10-2. Hey, maybe the Tigers can pull off an upset. Who knows? And then Tuesday, Malden 7-4. It's a very quality Malden team, and that's another one where I mean it will have conference implications in the end. So who knows? And in this Boot Hill Conference this year, that felt like at the beginning of the year it was kind of Hayties, and then everyone. Right now it feels like Hayti, South Pim, Zenith, and Malden all have a shot. So Crowsville make some noise, get a high seed there, and then Saturday come watch me and Travion at a new gym, Delta R5's gym. It's gonna be exciting to see them play a nice St. Vincent Indians. Yeah, and so good week coming up. Just come out, support the Tigers. Come out, support the Boot Hill Sports Network as a whole.
That's right, man. Sure love that. Hey, and speaking of that, man, I'm glad you brought that up, Charlie. Hey, we're over 10,000, so we met one of our goals, man. We'd like to thank each and every one of you guys. Well on our way. Our next goal is 15,000, so help us get there, man. We are growing and growing fast, man. So we appreciate it. We're trying to give you a lot of coverage of the smaller schools, class 1 through 3. I know we were asked about Sykeston. We just try not to cover the big schools because I feel like they get enough coverage, man. And the little smaller schools in our area don't. That's why we started this thing, and we're going to stick to that, man, and just cover strictly class 1 through 3. We'll mention the big schools if needed. Of course, when they play all the smaller schools, we have no choice. So, Chris, closing thoughts.
I got a couple. First thing, Mission needs officials. I know that, man, we got some great officials in this area. Seen a lot of it at Bloomfield, and I was just, watching some of them guys. I won't name any of them, but watching some of them guys, the ones that do those tournaments, man, and they're really, really good. And so I know that they made a plea. Need a lot of younger guys to try to step up, because we got a lot of old, and I can say that because I am old, but we got a lot of older gentlemen that are officials, and there's nothing wrong with that. But these guys
our games. There's some out there that referee our games in high school.
That's right. And it'd be nice to maybe, I might do a little reaching out. Might get 1 or 2 of them to come on here with us. I think that would be great to have a Mission basketball official on here. I know a couple of them. I may give them a call this week. But that's one thing. The second thing, let's not. Of course, we hadn't touched on it, but Coach Williams from Kennett. I want to send our thoughts and prayers to the Kennett School District and all the kids that were affected by his passing. Unfortunate, untimely passing. I don't really know no details, but I know it's sad because, I've seen a lot of kids. I didn't know the coach. I'd seen him around. I've seen a lot of kids post a lot of stuff about him from Kennett that I do know, students that it's affected. And certainly, my heart, hurts for anything like that, because he seemed like he was a great guy. And I know Coach Patton, John Patton at Kennett is one of my friends, and he's been a long time assistant there. Coach McBroom, who's the head coach there. I know them guys are hurting, and I hate to see it. But I figure, I don't know Coach Williams, but I figure he'd want these games to move on. Just want to mention, to Kennett that we are thinking about you guys, and it's unfortunate. But other than that, man, I just got to say, go Dogs. Going to be on them this week. Hope they do well. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Till we have another show next time.
Yeah. We're supposed to have Scott Anderson from Kennett on here tonight, but we were going to touch a little bit on that. I'm glad you brought that up. Thoughts and prayers definitely out for that community, as we've had a lot of tragedy around the Boot Hill this year, and even extending to Arkansas up in Manila, as we've had that tragedy. So thoughts and prayers definitely for everybody out there, man. And
for them kids at Manila too, man. There's still a lot of them in the hospitals and stuff. So
and thanks to Manila, by the way, and hosting us over there. Put on a fine tournament as well. All right, guys, we're going to sign off for the night. We will catch you on the next episode of Shooting Hoops in the Boot. That is Charlie Duckworth, Chris Brown. I'm Mark Manley. We'll see you next time on Shooting Hoops in the Boot.